Hello everyone. In this video, let's learn about constants and const expressions. So let's write a simple program. So let's declare a constant. So what is a constant? So constant is basically a keyword in C++. Okay. And any variable which is declared as constant, it cannot be modified later. Okay. For example, const int I equal to 10. At the time of declaration, we assigned a value 10. So if you want to modify the value of I to 20, it is not possible. It will throw an error. So let's try this out. You can see assignment of a read-only variable I. So when you declare variable as constant, it is read-only. You cannot modify it. And you cannot just declare a constant variable. You have to have a value for it, initial value for it. Otherwise, it will be throwing an error saying that uninitialized constant. So, what do you mean by constant? Constant means for the entire lifetime of this program, this variable will be constant. You cannot modify it. So, it is a compile time variable. Okay, so that's the meaning of constant. So, this is for variables. Okay, this is for variables. So let's see for pointers. Okay, so how constant will come into picture for pointers. So if you want to declare a pointer and which is pointing to a constant, you can do that. Okay, let's say you have int I, let's say int j 20. And I want to declare int const star p equal to address of j. So always pointer holds the address of an variable. Okay, j is a variable and p is a pointer pointing to this j. So by doing this, you are restricting whoever is using this p will not be able to modify the value of j. Okay, j can be modified by directly updating j. J can be updated to 30. Okay, this is possible. Okay, it compiles fine. But let's say if you want to modify j's value to p, okay, how you can modify? By dereference operator. Let's say you want to modify value of j through p. Is this possible? No, it is not possible. Assignment of a read only location. So what does it mean? So this pointer is a pointing to the j which is of constant type. Okay, you will not be able to modify the value of j through this p because it's a constant pointer. Okay, so here the p itself is not constant. You can reassign p to some other variable also. Let's example int z equal to 30. So you can reassign this p to some other variable, in this case z. This is possible. This is possible. So in this case only the value what p is pointing to is constant. Okay, the p itself is not constant. Now how do we make p also constant? You cannot modify the, or you cannot reassign the value of p to something else. How you can do that? Okay, you can do that with this syntax: p equal to address of C. So let me declare int z equal to 30. Now previously with this pointer it was possible. Okay, with this pointer it was possible. Now with the p1, will you be able to reassign the value of p1? No. This is not possible because p itself is a constant. So assignment of a read-only variable p1. Okay. So if you use p here, this will work because p is not a constant pointer. P is a pointer to constant. So remember this. This is pointer to constant. This is constant pointer. So in this case, you cannot modify what p is pointing at. In this case, you cannot modify p1 itself. But what about the value is that is pointing at p1? Can you modify that? Let's try it. Let's say I want to modify what p1 is pointing at. Let's assign the value to 50. It's possible because p1 is a constant pointer, but what it is pointing at, that is not constant. Okay, so in this case, what p1 is pointing at can be modified. Because here only p1 is constant. Okay, here you can modify p. Okay, so you can reassign the value of p to some other variable, or you can make it point to some other variable because it's not a constant pointer. So this is a little confusing initially. Just remember this. So when you declare like this, const star p. Okay, so this star is associated with the variable. It means that it is a pointer. P is a pointer pointing to a integer constant. Okay, you can read it like that. In this case, p1 is a constant pointer pointing to integer. Okay, integer is not constant, but p1 is a constant. So this const is closely associated with p1 here. Here the const is closely associated with variable. Okay, so you might have a doubt, is it possible to have both constant pointer pointing to a constant variable or constant memory address? Yes, that is also possible. You can, how you can declare that? Const int star const p2. Okay, this is how you can declare it. Let's create a variable. Let's say int xyz equal to 100. Okay, now assign x address of xyz to this pointer. Now can you modify p2, or can you reassign p2 to something else? No, because it's a constant pointer. Can you change what p2 is pointing at? No. The value what it is pointing at, that is also constant. So this is constant pointer pointing to constant value. Okay, this is important. This is a little bit confusing during the interview. Just remember this. So if you try to modify p2 or basically xyz via p2, you'll not be able to do it because it is pointing with a constant, pointing to a constant. So can you reassign p2 to, let's say, z? Is it possible? No, this is also not possible. You cannot do this. Cannot do this because it's constant pointer. Not do this because it's pointing to a constant. Okay, so this is about constants. So we'll talk about const expr in the next session.